In the evening, Christian prepares a delicious dinner, but not for himself, but for his beloved pet, Frank. The twist is that Frank is actually not an animal but a person in a dog costume. Christian lives alone in a luxurious house. The pet is his only company, but Christian wants to change that, so he registered on a dating app. Christian browsed through many girls' profiles, but 23-year-old Sigrid particularly intrigued him. Christian takes very good care of his dog. The pet only takes off the costume when it's time to take a shower. It's time to sleep. Christian wished his dog a good night, and the pet obediently lay down on the floor by the bed. However, Christian couldn't sleep, so he took his phone and started texting Sigrid. In the morning, Christian was awakened by his dog. First, he fed the pet while continuing to text with Sigrid. No matter what Christian did, the loyal dog was always by his side. After breakfast, they went for a walk together. Sigrid messaged Christian again, asking about his plans for tomorrow. Of course, Christian was happy to meet her and prepared carefully for their upcoming date. After kissing his pet, Christian left. The meeting place was a cozy cafe on the shore. Christian arrived first and was a bit nervous because Sigrid was late, and there were no messages from her. As Christian was about to leave, the girl arrived and apologized for being late. They engaged in a pleasant conversation. Sigrid turned out to be cheerful, but Christian did not like the fact that she texted a lot. She admitted that it was her bad habit. Christian asked her to tell him about herself. Sigrid is studying to become a psychologist in a private school because she couldn't get into a university. On the other hand, Christian neither studies nor works and is still searching for his path. The two talked until the evening. Christian complained that his life was not as fulfilling as he wanted it to be, while Sigrid had both her studies and work. Christian admired her independence. Unlike Sigrid, he found it challenging to interact with people. When Christian suggested that Sigrid come to his place, she agreed. The girl did not expect that the guy lived in such a luxurious house. He kindly offered her some wine. He confessed that he didn't live alone in the house but with his dog. Sigrid was thrilled because she loves animals. She didn't notice that the dog was observing them. It turned out that Christian inherited this massive house from his parents, who passed away a long time ago. In turn, Sigrid revealed that her parents divorced when she was a child. This brought the young people closer, and passion developed between them. The dog was watching them again. In the morning, when Sigrid saw a person in a dog costume, she was shocked, but Christian acted as if it was perfectly normal. When Sigrid asked who it was, Christian said it was just his dog Frank. Under the pretext of urgent matters, Sigrid was about to leave. Christian followed her, begging her to stay. He tried to explain everything, but Sigrid didn't want to hear anything about it, as the situation was at least strange. However, after some hesitation, Sigrid asked Christian to give her a ride. Before she left, Christian said he would be happy to see her again. Returning to her dormitory, Sigrid tried to make sense of what had happened. Her neighbor Aurora was curious about the details of this night. Sigrid said that the guy was handsome, sweet and shy, but he lived with a man who acted like a dog. Aurora didn't even know how to react because she had never heard of anything like that before. Upon seeing a photo of Christian, Aurora immediately recognized him. He is the son of a multimillionaire who inherited a huge fortune. Sigrid didn't even know this. Later, the girls watched videos online about people who behave like dogs. It's some kind of a game. Despite the oddity, Aurora believes there is nothing dangerous about it. As long as this hobby doesn't harm others, it should remain a personal matter for everyone. Sigrid agrees with her friend. Perhaps this is her last chance to date such a wealthy guy. That's why when Sigrid received a call from Christian, she answered. Christian said he was very sorry about today. Sigrid in turn apologized for leaving without any explanations. They agreed to have dinner at Christian's place tomorrow. In the morning, Sigrid went to her classes at the private school but couldn't concentrate on her studies while texting Christian. Aurora supports her friend in this. After class, Christian picked up Sigrid. During dinner, she asked him about Frank. Christian explained that Frank is a dog. It's his personal preference. Of course it seemed strange to Sigrid, but Christian didn't see anything abnormal about it. He was used to this arrangement. When Sigrid asked permission to look at Frank, Christian didn't object but told her not to think of him as a human. Christian called the pet, and he came over, barking. Sigrid did not know how to behave and was frightened. When the dog started sniffing her, Sigrid panicked. Christian ordered the pet to go to sleep. The guy apologized for this and offered to drive Sigrid home, but she assured him that everything was fine. Later, Christian revealed that he had known Frank since childhood. He had been a loner and avoided society. In the morning, Christian prepared a delicious breakfast for Sigrid. She appreciated the care. Christian also promised that from now on, Frank would behave well. It seemed not to bother Sigrid anymore. Christian drove Sigrid to her classes. They already had plans for the evening. Aurora was very happy for her friend. That evening, Christian showed Sigrid his mother's extensive collection of DVDs. Christian explained that his mother had been an artist. After her passing, he didn't change anything in the house. Throughout the night, Frank was by their bedroom, eavesdropping. The next day, Sigrid packed her things. She, Christian and Frank were planning to spend the weekend outside the city. Aurora found it strange that the pseudo-dog would be going with them. But Sigrid was already accustomed to Frank being just a dog. Sigrid began to really take everything that was happening for granted. The three of them went to a country house. Christian was happy to have met such an understanding girl as Sigrid. During dinner, when Christian saw his beloved was texting again, he suggested they spend the weekend without phones. Sigrid wasn't used to this, but she agreed nonetheless. Christian didn't reveal where he had hidden the phones. Sigrid and Frank got along well. Christian was glad that his loneliness was finally over. When Christian went to get more wine, Frank quietly asked Sigrid for help. According to him, Christian is a psychopath. Sigrid didn't have a chance to do anything because Christian returned. Of course, he immediately noticed that something was amiss with his girlfriend. Sigrid lied that she just wanted to sleep. But in reality, she couldn't sleep until morning. Before Christian woke up, she tiptoed out of the room and headed to the front door, but it was locked. Sigrid tried to find the keys, but she was thwarted by Christian. She said she just wanted to take a short walk. Of course, Christian offered to accompany her. The whole time, Sigrid couldn't stop thinking about Frank's words. Perhaps Christian isn't really who he appears to be. As usual, Christian prepared a delicious breakfast, but Sigrid had no appetite. Christian said not to worry about it because Frank would finish the leftovers. Sigrid asked Christian to return her phone, claiming her mom was supposedly ill. Christian checked all the messages and notifications on her phone himself. Besides, he remained nearby as Sigrid called her mother. The conversation was short because Sigrid rarely communicates with her parents. Christian took Sigrid's phone again, saying that she needed to fight this addiction. Suddenly, Sigrid asked Christian for permission to walk the dog. While doing so, she intentionally flirted with Christian to lower his guard. Christian thought it was a good idea. During the walk, Sigrid started asking Frank questions, but he was afraid to talk, so he asked her to pretend to pet him. Frank explained that Christian is a psychopath. Escaping doesn't make sense because he will catch them anyway, so Sigrid should attack Christian while he sleeps. But the girl isn't ready to go for it. Back at home, both Frank and Sigrid had to act as if nothing had happened. Frank hinted that Sigrid was in for a surprise tonight. When Christian took Frank outside again, Sigrid went to the kitchen, took a sharp object and hid it under the pillow. Christian returned at the most unexpected moment, intending to change the bed linen. Sigrid said she would do it herself because she wanted to help, but Christian insisted heavily. Eventually he relented and let Sigrid change the bed linen herself. Later, while Sigrid was taking a shower, Christian knocked and said they needed to talk seriously. Sigrid entered the bedroom, fearing that Christian had found the sharp object. However, the guy began to resent the fact that the bed was poorly made. Sigrid was so shocked that she didn't know how to react. In the next moment Christian laughed, saying he was just joking. At that moment, Sigrid wanted more than anything to escape, but she couldn't. When Christian started hugging Sigrid persistently, she pushed him away. Christian simply left, saying that dinner would be ready in 15 minutes. During dinner, a tense atmosphere prevailed. Christian was clearly resentful of his beloved. She tried her best to start a conversation, but Christian was not in the mood to talk. At some point, Sigrid began to feel unwell and lost consciousness. She woke up in the bedroom at night. The sharp object was no longer under the pillow. Christian also woke up and ordered her to follow him and then to sit down. Christian looked confused and suddenly asked Sigrid if she understood why they were here. Barely holding back her emotions, Sigrid replied that she did not. That's when Christian played an audio recording on his phone. It turned out he had been eavesdropping on the recent conversation between Sigrid and Frank. Christian also hinted that he knew about the sharp object. He was very disappointed and wanted Sigrid to prove that she could be trusted. The pseudo-dog was in a cage. Christian wanted him to learn a lesson, just like Sigrid. When Christian opened the cage, Frank bit him. A fight broke out between the two men. Taking advantage of this, Sigrid unlocked the door and escaped. After defeating Frank and leaving him in tears, Christian thought about what to do next. Frank was too scared and apologized to Christian. Hearing that Frank spoke like a human, Christian became even angrier and dragged Frank into the barn, from which he wouldn't escape. Meanwhile, Sigrid screamed in despair because she got lost in the forest. Frank, on the other hand, was placed back in the cage. Christian would never allow him to escape. Sigrid cried and couldn't stop. But then, gathering her strength, she returned to the house to rescue Frank. Armed with a stick and sneaking up from behind, Sigrid knocked Christian out and helped Frank to his feet. However, Christian regained consciousness fairly quickly and attacked them. Both Frank and Sigrid lost consciousness, and Christian burst into tears. When the sun rose, Christian prepared a delicious breakfast. Afterward, he filled a bowl with dog food and fed his first pet and then the second, who lived in the barn. Sigrid eagerly ate all the dog food.